I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Do you have any verbal speech tics or habits that annoy you? It could be something that you say, or it could be like something that someone else says almost all the time, and it just drives you like crazy. Well, you can guess that's one for me. And another phrase that gets used a lot, it's often, how do I explain it? Well, there you go. Like and are two things that they're like verbal pollution when people are speaking. But why do I tell you that? What does that have to do with the verse of the day? Well, in First Thessalonians, one of the things you notice is the repeated use of a phrase. And one of those phrases is, you know. But Paul isn't using it absent-mindedly as a verbal space filler. He spends the first 3 chapters reminding the church of what he's taught them and what they already know. So, and this happens many, many times. So it's in chapter 1, verse 5, where he says, you know what kind of persons we prove to be among you for your sake. In chapter 2, verse 5, as you know, and as God as our witnesses. In verse 11 in chapter 2, as you know, we dealt with each of you like a father with a child. And on it goes throughout the first 3 chapters of the letter. You yourselves know that this is what we are destined for in chapter 3, verse 3. So the first 3 chapters of First Thessalonians, Paul's reminding the church, you know this. You know this. Don't forget. You remember. You know. And then there's this pivot point in chapter 4, verse 13, where he says, but we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about those who have died, so that you may not grieve as others do who have no hope. So this is part of Paul's discussion. It begins his discussion about the coming of the Lord, the second coming of Christ. And he makes a very important point that's really vital for us as Christians to remember. We don't grieve as those who have no hope, because we believe that all of our loved ones who have died in the Lord and ourselves, we will see one another again. We will be reunited with them, with Christ, with God, in eternity in heaven. Everyone watching this video has lost loved ones, as I have. And it's painful and it hurts. But thank God for the hope we have in Jesus, who is the resurrection and the life, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep, as we read elsewhere, that while we miss a person's physical presence, we miss their hugs, their voice, their smile, their laughter, their help. We miss them in a myriad of ways. We hold on to the hope that we have. We will see them again. And so we don't grieve in the same way as those who bury their dead with no hope of ever seeing them again. I pray that hope that we have in Christ would sustain you, especially when you are in the depths of grief or loss.